Hey everybody, what's happening? Neil Temple of Doom back once again from Pop Cultured with Silver Screen Sheen and team. Check us out on the radio, News Talk 1290, CJBK. That's a Bell Media station on iHeartRadio. Download the iHeartRadio app and you can tune in to many an awesome radio show. Today, I have a new streaming review for you, and it is the Animaniacs on Hulu and Teletoon in Canada as well. So the Animaniacs are back. Yes, the beloved 90s cartoon that always had some biting, satirical, adult humor in it at times, which it was just as entertaining for the kids as it was for the adults. Animaniacs. So many brilliant writers and producers. The show was originally created by Tom Ruegger and Mr. Steven Spielberg as well, and Spielberg is the one that we actually have to thank for reviving the series. They kind of joke about calling it a reboot. I mean, it's, Spielberg calls it a revival. We'll go with that. So along with Wellesley Wild, a new producer who helped bring this new Animaniacs to the small screen on your Hulu and on your Teletoon if you're in Canada. It's fantastic. It's actually a lot of fun, but there's a few holes here and there. There's a few sketches that don't go that well. It's not perfect. I wasn't expecting perfection, but it's still pretty good. So, this spoiler-free review is going to get into the good first before I get into some unfortunate disappointments. So, first of all, the cast is always top-notch. They are as good as any voice actors in the world. Rob Paulsen, Maurice LaMarche, they've reprised their roles as Pinky and the Brain, and of course Rob Paulsen also plays Yakko. We have Jess Harnell playing Wacko, and we have Tress MacNeille playing Dot. And they are all brilliant. All these guys have been just amazing. They bring the show to life, along with all the other actors that have been on the show, over the years, like Frank Welker and Paul Rudd and Sherry Stoner, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, the cast has always been my favorite part of the show, whether they're acting or singing. The singing is brilliant. The songs were always so clever. And these new songs are actually pretty clever as well. Naturally, very contemporary songs about reboots and things like that. So, a lot of contemporary topical things going on in 2020. Basically what happens here in terms of the story anyway, the Animaniacs, they've been gone for 22 years, so that would be 1998 was the last we saw of them, it seems. And so they come back and they return to the Warner Brothers lot with the water tower and Ralph the Guard and everything. And they see that, some things have certainly changed over the years and they don't really get the lingo. So there's that, out of time humor that we get, along with, more songs, but the songs are good. Again, just getting back to that, the songs aren't annoying in any way whatsoever. They're just as clever as they were back in the 90s. I think they're really, really well done. So again, the acting, the singing, and the writing of the songs as well has been the most impressive part of this revival. The acting being brilliant. There are certain jokes that only adults will get, just like in the original show. But let's get into some of the disappointing things here. There were a couple of sketches that featured some characters that were just kind of like, we're still going with this kind of character. Like Arnold, is being parodied here, a satirical kind of character named Neidhart, and he was just this tired caricature, of Arnold. And I was just like, oh, this character again, and I just thought, well, they can come up with other foils and things, but no, it's, maybe some over crazy SJW or something, I'd like to see the Animaniacs mess with them. But no, I mean, some of the sketches are better than others. I think the Pinky and the Brain sketches really do stand out, though. There's some really funny stuff here, featuring a poke at Seth Meyers, the late night talk show host, and Pinky and the Brain do, again, the writers and everything, they're really clever. They do a really good job of putting this show together. The show was originally written in most of it, I guess, was written in 2018, if not all of it. And they do reference that. I mean, they smash right through the fourth wall in this show. I mean, there's just constant, like, winks to the audience and, and things like that. So, yeah, it's wonderful to see that. the updates and contemporary jokes, they work really well. It is a little disappointing, though, that we didn't get more variety of characters, at least not yet. I mean, as far as I know, there's a few that are going to return, and some that are just going to pop up in a scene or even just a frame. I know Dr. Scratch and Sniff will supposedly return at the end of this season, so look forward to that. Since so far I have only seen the first 4 episodes, there was a 4-episode marathon on Teletoon here in Canada, so I got to binge those 4, and most of it was great. I mean, some of the history and the math and all the educational stuff, which I guess is fairly mandatory these days, but it gets a little bit like, okay, we get this is for more like for kids to get. So as an adult, when I watch this show, I'm really looking forward to a lot of the contemporary humor and a lot of the political humor as well, because Mr. Spielberg wanted to crank up the politics in the show, so he requested that they do a lot more with the the election, and obviously there's a parody of Trump in there too. So there's a lot that you would expect from good old Animaniacs, but it is unfortunate that we don't get Sherry Stoner's Slappy Squirrel, which is this wonderful sarcastic character, one of my all-time favorites, and a lot of favorites that, as far as we know, are not going to be in this show. But who knows? Maybe season 2, and as far as I can tell from the internet, it's gonna happen. We're gonna get a season 2 of Animaniacs. I mean, it's pretty inevitable. The show is certainly good enough to deserve it in my book. So, besides the fact that there are some missing characters, some that I guess they can't do anymore for whatever reason, political or social, whatever reason for it, like, hello, nurse, okay, I get, they're not gonna do that maybe anymore, but, there's certain characters that they could definitely bring back. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Buttons and Mindy, and things like that. So, they could bring back certain characters. I know they wanted to bring back Freakazoid, but I don't think it worked out with the original actor and writer, Paul Rugg. But anyway, I mean, you can't ask for everything, right? I mean, maybe I'm just a nostalgic fanboy who's just wanting... who just wants all these characters to come back, because I'd love to see them, even the hippos. I don't care, bring them all back. Well, it's pretty good though. Obviously the 5 main characters here that they focus on, they're amazing, they're great. The like I said, the Pinky and the Brain sketches definitely steal the show. The contemporary jokes, they work for the most part. So I am going to give this Hulu and Teletoon show a 7.5 out of 10, and I gotta thank you guys so much for tuning in to this quick review of the new Animaniacs. So I hope you are all enjoying it, and leave me a comment below, let me know what you thought of the show, and I will see you guys next time. This is Neil. Peace.